to maybe share a paragraph about you or 2 or 3 sentences. Like I said, they don't care about your story until you help them solve their problem, and it could take weeks or months from shopping with you before they finally care about you. And that's okay, because they're buying from you. You know, I got to the point where they don't need to know my story because they show up every week. I make them feel amazing, and we're making a profit. So that's what's important. As a matter of fact, when I hire people for my farm store, I don't hire them to sell. When I hire them, I say your job is to make everyone who walks through that door feel amazing. That's your job. They have to feel amazing, because when they feel amazing, they're like, wow, I want more. Nobody in my store has ever been taught how to sell. Like, oh, there are all these techniques you can do. They don't need to know any of those techniques. If you make the person feel amazing, they will buy from you. Okay, so, and I see same thing with your market booth. If you're doing a busy farmer's market and people are coming up, your employees need to know how to make that person feel special, and then sales happen naturally after that. Okay, so tip number 2, you have a huge advantage over Amazon. I've just talked a lot about that tonight over and over. Share your experiences that relate to your customers. A lot of times our ideal customers end up looking like us. Like if we're a mom with teenage kids, often we describe our ideal customer as a mom with teenage kids, because maybe that's, and that's okay. And that's good. As a matter of fact, when I have a man in my marketing course, they often have to work a little harder because their ideal customer is often a woman, and they have to work to think like a woman, and they have to do a little extra studying. So our ideal customers will often look like us, and then when you share your struggles, like if you say, oh, Thanksgiving, I couldn't believe, the crazy things that happened Thanksgiving, they're going to relate to those stories. They aren't getting that stuff from Amazon. That's why they come to you, because they use Amazon and one-click shopping for things, but they're going to come to you for special things because of that connection and those little stories. So here's another example. What I love about this picture, like I said, so many farmers don't want their picture on their website because they think they are more professional. But when you see a couple that looks so approachable and like real people, it makes you want to go shop with them. So these guys are a perfect example, and they just talk about, too, the About page. Have you struggled to find produce that will help you and your family live as healthy as possible? Tired of not knowing where your food comes from or what was sprayed on it? And again, they get this information by talking to their customers and then reflecting that on their website. So it's not a story about Carrie and Julie. The first paragraph is all about their customer and what she's looking for. And then she's going to read that and say, wow, they know what I'm looking for. Okay, here's another one. When my son was diagnosed with asthma, we started down the real food path. Let us guide you on the path to health, healing, and happiness. Talked about this a little before. You have to be careful claiming that your product heals disease. The FDA, only drugs can heal disease, according to the FDA. So, like our raw milk cured my kid's eczema. I watched it right in front of me, but I can't put that on my farm website because that I would get shut down for that. So you can't say that raw honey is an antibiotic and will cure your whatever. You can't say that if you sell that product. But what I have learned is my farm is so small, I've never been on the radar of the FDA. I share a lot of customer testimonials as stories. So a customer will come to me and they'll say, we started eating farm fresh food and this happened to me, and I'll share that in a blog post, and other people love reading that. Just know that if you get to, and also every state is different. So I don't know about New Jersey. But Oregon is pretty laid back. They're like, we'll stay away. If you don't cause us a problem, we won't cause you a problem. So you have to know how your state reacts towards things like that. But if for me, I've always been able to share customer testimonials and therefore send the message of how it helps people. But just know that you got to kind of be careful of that. Okay, sample about page. Again, just because of time, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I've given you several. But this was my exact about page, and I would have moms call me and just say, you know, how did you know I had a week-old pile of laundry on my, you know, I have to buy your meat. And they never ask the price. So when you make these little references, again, like I said, price is no object. All right, so I'm going to give you the link to get this by email if you want, the fill in the blank about page. People want to buy from us. They jump online because they have a problem to solve or a goal to reach. So you're going to describe what that is in the fill in the blank about page. You're going to reassure or relate to them, like say, you know, you've got struggling to find food that your family doesn't cause digestive issues or whatever. I can help. I know exactly what you're going through. I'm a mom of 3 kids and this happened to me. Click here to order now. So it's just 4 steps right there, a 4-step about page. And there's no, then you kind of earn the right to tell a couple sentences about you, but notice this is all about them. Okay, blog. A blog helps you retain current customers and also get new customers. What happens is we retain about 80% of our customers on our farm, which means we're always we have about 20% turnover. Many farmers I talk to, it's the reverse. They retain about 20%, and then they're constantly working to get new customers, and you know how much work it is to get a new customer. So if you can retain more of them, you're way more efficient. A blog will help you retain your current customers. Okay, it offers them more ways to use your products and more how-tos. Remember when I said we think if we raise a product, like we were doing beef for about 5 years. My hairstylist bought ground beef from me. She would buy some every once in a while, and she was doing my hair, and I've had the same hairstylist for like 10 years. So we become friends, and she says, you know, I'd buy more ground beef from you, but I only know how to make taco salad, and my family is so sick of it. So here she is. She's a woman in her 40s, and she only knows how to make taco salad. And I could laugh, but then I'm like, I realize that this is all of our customers. They know how to make, and then I think of myself. I get in a rut where I make the same thing. So that shows me right there that if I had that little recipe book, when they sign up to get my email, 5 ground beef recipes, she would, instead of buying 5 pounds every 3 months, she's going to buy 20-pound boxes of ground beef because I've given her all these uses for it. So that's how a blog helps you retain your current customers. Instead of just one use for your vegetables, you're going to give them so many more uses. And don't think that, oh, they already know this, because they don't. They don't. They aren't experts at all. We're the experts in our product, and so we can teach them how to do them. Okay? And then a blog helps you reach those new customers because it's easy to give a call to action, a CTA, to forward this to your friends who need help coming up with recipes for dinner, forward this to your girlfriends who also want to make their flowers last longer, you know, so you can share that. And then if someone lands on your website, you can have a blog that answers basic questions. One of the questions I get asked too when people first find out I sell raw milk is they'll say, oh, I thought that was illegal. So the perfect blog post title for me that would attract a lot of new customers, it would say something like, I thought raw milk was illegal. It wasn't even on their radar to find it because they thought it was illegal. And here I've got an article that walks them through that, and they're going to come out and give it a try. Here's another example, how to uncrystallize raw honey. And that's because she had several of her customers say they threw their honey out when it crystallized. They didn't know you could uncrystallize it. So she did a blog post on it, which means she's going to sell more. 10 ways to eat clean in 2018. Raw milk versus pasteurized. So all these blog posts are retaining customers or getting new customers. Here's a healing story. Again, I share stories. If I were a bigger dairy, had more than 3 cows, the FDA, like Mark McAfee, he had customer stories on his website, and he had to remove all that off there because he sells 60,000 gallons a day or a month or a year or something like that, a lot more than me. When you're a big farm, you got to be careful about claiming healing stories, but when you're little, you can share those stories. Oh, one of our most read blog posts ever was how to easily and quickly peel farm fresh hard-boiled eggs, because we boil them and take the shells off easily every time, and all our friends were like, oh no, I can't. So we have this little technique. We did it on video, and it was one of the most popular blog posts. So just think, because something's easy for you, it's not easy for everyone else, and you can send a blog post out and you'll get new customers that way. All right, so here's one last example, and then I'll wrap this one up in just a sec so we can move on to social media. But I was looking to sell fermented vegetables in our farm store. And I spoke at a conference, and I met the owner of Oli Kraut and the owner of Firefly, both of them. They both sell fermented vegetables. They were both really wonderful ladies. We're all about the same age. They were both like really awesome ladies. I could see us becoming friends and going out to dinner and lunch and coffee and tea. They were so similar in every way. And then I went to their website, and even their websites looked pretty similar. This is Oli Kraut. They're in Olympia, Washington. Beautiful. Look at the pictures. And then here's Firefly, similar. Even the packaging is similar. So still I'm like, oh, they're both such nice ladies. Which one am I going to choose? But Oli Kraut had a blog that gave digestive health tips. She gave content that I could use to sell the ferments in my farm store. They were priced the same. The other one, Firefly, did not have a blog, had no recipes. Look at this, winter beet and potato salad. Sounds great. So they have all kinds of recipes on their blog that are going to sell the ferments in my store. So of course we went with Oli Kraut. So that's how a blog helped me make that decision. Same thing, if someone lands on your website and you tell them how to use your product in your blog, and there's a website selling the same product, maybe that farm is even closer, and there's no blog, no connection, no how to use it, nothing like that, they're going to choose the one with the blog, with the how-to, because it builds that connection and it gives them all kinds of ideas and it helps them use your product. All right, so the products page, almost done on this one. If you confuse people, you lose people. Again, in my website reviews, sometimes I'll have to click like 4 times before I can ever figure out how to buy the product. So sometimes you're too close to your website if you created it. Have a friend go on there and see how many clicks till they can find out how to buy it. It's surprising that, 6, 7, 8 clicks. The average person will be long gone. You've got I want to know where I buy your product or how I buy it in 2 clicks maximum. So make sure you've really made that clear. And then tip number 2 is, again, present their problem and your solution. Can't figure out, you only know how to use ground beef for one thing, I can help. Get my recipe booklet, 5 ways to use ground beef and get dinner on the table fast. I talked about their problem and I gave them the solution using my product. Flower farmer, tired of flowers that wilt after 3 days, get my free tip sheet on how to make your fresh flowers last a week or 7 more days or whatever you want to do. So you present their problem and then your product is the solution to that. So sample product description right here. And again, this is all in that little template that you can text to at the end and get the fill in the blank template. But bone broth, we sold bone broth in our store for a while. Drink more bone broth because it was very trendy a couple years ago. I don't know if you're still seeing the trend, but it was food of the year a couple years ago. So drink more bone broth was your New Year's resolution, but after ruining a few batches, filling up your whole house with the smell, you've decided it's not going to happen. We were selling containers of it. And the reason I knew that is my customers would come in and say, I really want to make bone broth, but it really stinks up my house. So that, what exactly the words my customer said, went into the product description. So you're pointing out their struggle, and your product is the solution. Here's another one. Adventurous and decisive. Your schedule's too crazy to cook every night. No problem. Purchase our harvest bag option when you're cooking to impress your new beau. Oops, spelling error. Or parents are coming over to inspect your fridge. Again, she interviewed her ideal customer, and this is exactly what her ideal customer told her, and this is in her product description. Most people's websites, it's going to say bag of vegetables or assortment of 5 vegetables. Just this tiny little story in here that's straight out of her ideal customer's mouth makes people feel connected to you. And this is what brings emotion into it. And if people don't have emotion when they buy, they're just going to click on Amazon. If I just need socks, I don't have an emotional connection to socks, I'm just going to click on Amazon. However, there are companies out there who are creating emotional connections with socks and selling them for big amounts of money, and that is why. Because they've created the emotional connections. So you're doing the same thing. And then contact page. I find that if you have, so when you're small, have your phone number on your website. I made so many sales and got so many customers at first because they'd land on the website and they would just call and ask a question. And just that human connection and the human voice made them a customer. Whereas a lot of people try to look professional, and they're afraid they're getting a lot of phone calls. You're not going to get a lot of phone calls at first. So put your phone number on there. It wasn't until 3 or 4 years in that I took the phone number off. And at the end, I did say text this number. I didn't even say call. I said text this number with questions or something like that. So offer a way to get in touch with you, because you won't be bombarded at first. Driving directions if they're coming to your farm, whatever you can do to make it easy to find you. All right, so website design, lots of white space. If you're writing your own website, do not have big blocks of text. People's eyes, we read bullet points. We skip over big blocks of text, so don't have any of those. Stick to 1 to 3 colors and fonts, or when in doubt, just choose black and white. But look at websites are really clean and light now, so make sure you do that. Use lots of bullet points or just 1 sentence per paragraph. As soon as you go beyond 1 sentence per paragraph, people skip the rest of it. They don't read it. So keep it really, really clean design. Take every sentence you write and condense it down. If you said something in 30 words, rewrite it and say that same thing in 8 words. That's copywriting, and that is what you use in marketing today is copywriting. It's engaging. You can use slang, write like you talk, but keep the sentences on your website really short and punchy and bullet points with lots of white space. Don't have lots of pop-ups and flashy messages. You'll have companies contact you and say, oh, do our pop-up this, pop-up that. You'll sell more. No. Don't have lots of social media links. You don't make money on social media. So on your website, don't link out to your social media pages. Or if you do, make it really subtle in the first page or something. But don't, when you have a link on your website, it's like a big exit sign telling them to leave, because they're going to leave via that link and never come back. Especially if they leave to Instagram, they're going to get sucked in this big hole of Facebook or Instagram and never come back. So remove all the links to other things on your websites. There's organizations we want to support and all that. But your website, remember, you've got less than 2 years to make sure you don't go out of business and to be making some money. So if you're advertising somebody else's link on there, it's not helping you. So remove those links. All right, so, whoops. Oh, wow, that was weird. Went all the way back to the top. Okay, questions can come up now, and then I'm going to tell you, if you want transparency, you get on my email list, but you could get the free stuff and then unsubscribe. I send out my podcast every week. Sorry, I'm going through all these slides. So, but questions can come in while I'm getting back to the bottom. Okay, so that's the number you can text 3CM website, and you'll get that 5-page template, fill-in template thing too. And then, yes, if anyone has questions, I'll answer those. And these are old ones. Yes, Joe.
New Jersey used to have the largest CSA in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And lately they've been finding that they've got fewer and fewer subscribers. What's happening to CSAs, or could you comment about CSAs or
Convenience.
direct experience?
Could you repeat the question so
Oh, yes.
The
Okay.
question is about
other
CSAs.
people can hear on the other?
CSAs,
Community-supported agriculture.
community-supported agriculture, where you get a box of vegetables and you pick it up every week, or maybe it's delivered to a drop point or something, is on the decline, mostly because of convenience. So we see the same thing with people buying a quarter beef or a half a hog. Those people are becoming more and more convenient focused. They want a steak and a pound of burger. They don't want a half a cow. And they want the vegetables they want their broccoli and their lettuce and tomato. They don't want a box that they, so then they have to take their box home and they have to clean it and prepare it and cook it. Or, I'm guilty of this. My husband has an amazing garden. He'll bring me this big box of vegetables that need to be washed and cut up and prepared, and I will open the bag of lettuce. And I won't I'll be like, don't tell him I opened the bag of lettuce. That's everybody, convenience. So how can you make it more convenient? A lot of the CSA owners I work with are going to a customized CSA, or what's it called when they can choose, they come and choose. Anyway, flexibility. So instead of the farmer giving me a box of vegetables, I can decide what goes in there. And the other thing is, most people, have they done market research on that? When you do market research on that, they find out a lot of people just get way too many vegetables. My daughter got a CSA and she would bring us half a box of vegetables until they finally, she's like, I'm not using it, I'm not going to pay for it. So the farmers have to be careful because they think, oh, we have so much abundance, we're going to give them our extra abundance, and then the person feels guilty for not using it and they unsubscribe too. So
Food waste has become
yeah.
issues.
So the farmers I work with that are having the most success, it's totally customizable. They come, they pick out, they might have a prepaid card where they get so many dollars worth of vegetables, and then they pick out what they want. So if I want a lot of tomatoes and a little bit of this, I can do it. And if I don't want turnips, I don't have to take turnips and all that. So people are becoming, we are just used to convenience, more and more convenience. So the big box vegetables CSAs are going out of style and they're on the decline. So then how can we as farmers make that work for us? We've got to be flexible. We've got to, same with the meat producers are running into the same thing. They've got to find USDA plants and sell meat by the cut. Or you've just narrowed your market. If you want to continue selling big boxes, you've got to reach more people until you find the ones that do that.